Oye, 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 espérate y espérame. Pero vamos a hablar inglés.
No me llama Carlos, ese no es mi nombre, toma un cocotazo. Tienes que entender que soy muy genuino, muchacho. Me da pique porque para ti soy un fracaso. Me da pique porque para los hombres soy Pegaso. Me da pique porque te las voy sobrepaso. Me da pique porque ellos son carrasco. Me da pique porque ellos son carrasco. Un carrasco, dale fuetazo. Un carrasco, dale fuetazo.
Que lo que mi gente, what's good, and welcome back to another episode of the VAMOS HABLAR INGLÉS podcast. I'm your host, La Reina Taina, and shit, let me tell you, y'all, this has been a rough June. Let's just, deep breath. All right, one, and out. Cause, yeah, yet again, another month without proper stability, proper space to record my audios, my podcast episodes. So we are in a park in Pelham, New York, Westchester. And yeah, this just I don't even know how I'm even making this. I'm even surprised that I'm making this, if I'm being completely honest with y'all. But we gonna jump into it, okay? Alright, so disclaimer, right? Like I said, I'm at the park, so there's literally a train station behind me, so we're gonna try our best to like not have that in the audio. So I just had some brekkie, so that was good. Brekkie at 1:24 p.m. My meds making me sleepy as fuck right now. But yeah, so today's episode number 10. So I just want to hold space for that. I'm extremely proud of myself that I have been doing this podcast for 10 months back to back. These are the little things that I'm trying to commit regularly, right? So that I can just get to where I want to go, right? Like create the world that I want to live in. So yeah, apologies in advance for the noise in the background. The title of today's episode is Pride 2025 Reflections, offering a ritual of remembrance and reclamation. So for folks that are new here, I definitely want to refer y'all to my website at www.lareinataina.com. That's www.lareinataina.com. lareinataina.com. I have my own business, so you can see all the services that I provide on my website and who I provide those services to. The name of my business is La Reina Taina LLC. Just some background, La Reina Taina LLC is a multimedia creative economy built on ancestral intelligence, narrative sovereignty, and social innovation. Okay, so yeah, we're just gonna honor our capacity and do as much as we can because I'm over it. I am really over it with all these noises and just everything. I want to spend some time looking for housing. Yeah, it's really not even worth going into the whole 9. And it's just like I'm still in the thick of it. So it's like, how am I going to process something when I'm like still in the war, you know? Can't process a war when you're still in it. But anyways, the other day, I was struggling because I was like, damn, it's already June 28th. Oh, by the way, we are recording this on July 1st, Tuesday, July 1st, around 1 o'clock, 1 p.m., 1:30. And a couple of days ago, essentially, I was stressed as fuck, obviously, because I was like, damn, haven't started like drafting the script for my podcast. I was just struggling. And then I have this app called The Pattern that essentially, does my little astrology stuff. So I get my daily horoscope from them. And they were talking about, like, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but like they were talking about like my Chiron, Chiron. My Chiron is in Sagittarius, and like there was this whole thing that's like happening right now. So I was like, okay. So then I had ChatGPT kind of like expand on it based off of like my entire chart, because I'm not gonna sit here and pay someone to do that. Like, that's ridiculous. I'm already paying ChatGPT $20 a month. So then it came up with some really cool like affirmations, but also like reflection questions that I kind of want to use this as an opportunity to kind of continue my healing. And honoring my capacity. Like these past 6 months have been really difficult for me to kind of like continue healing my inner child, just because there's been so much instability, and my inner child doesn't even want to listen to me when there's so much chaos happening. So I really appreciated these affirmations, these questions, so that I'm able to use this as an opportunity. I was like, you know what, why not use my platform? Why not use something that I lean into every month? And it's a constant reminder too that it's like because I'm always like in survival mode, so just always thinking about posting and like doing everything, whatever, right? And it's like my original why for why I do all of this is because of like, one, not only my birth mother, using this as a way to really talk to her and reconnect with her, but also to finally create the world that I want to live in, like that's just the tea. So I want to see certain things in social media, so I create them. I want to hear certain podcast topics that aren't talked about, so I talk about them. So this is gonna be chill. I ideally do want it to be short, because I literally have no capacity, and this is gonna be like, and I was supposed to have a psych appointment today, and I had to get rescheduled because I forgot to like submit the papers in time, like the intake forms. And I'm just like, bro, like I literally have so much going on. And then I missed calling unemployment, because you have to call them weekly. I missed it by a day. I still did it, and it was submitted, but like I'm supposed to be doing it every Sunday. So yeah, it's so much with the moving and everything. I'm gonna be honest, I just want to be in the DR right now. I start school in September, so I'm just planning for that. Let's see, I forgot that I can do that, period. So I can just to see how loud it is. Anyways, so, and I'm so sorry that I sound like dead as fuck. Ya tú sabes, es que yo estoy bien cansada. Vamos. So I want to read the. Do I want to read the? Oh, you motherfucking. Ugh. I'm over here trying to beat up lanternflies. They everywhere. I didn't know where to start, so I'm just gonna read these affirmations. And so one of the affirmations is, I was not made to belong to broken systems. Another one is, I am not here to fix what was built to erase me. I really like that one. Number 3 is, I am the healer, the exile, the prophet, and the home. Another one is, I am not lost, I am now homeless, because my body, my mind, and my soul are my homes. I grew up living in 3 different houses, and I still live in 3. That one is a quote that I made myself. So that's one thing. Y la última es, I am not too much, I am exactly on time. Moving away from the sense of urgency, right? That's rooted in white supremacy societies and white supremacist societies. Onto my reflection questions. We have about 7-ish, but we'll see. We'll like change it up, because a lot of them kind of like overlap and stuff. My voice be sounding so nasally. I'm so sorry. I be speaking through my nostrils. It's because I'm tired. When I'm tired or like just over it, I just drop to the bass. It also helps me with like my singing voice, like just not being in such like a loud or high pitched, like straining my voice. So that's why I also keep it low. I also like my voice. I think it's weird to say that voices can be masculine and or feminine. I don't think that makes sense to me, so I just rock with it. Alright, so like there's like nobody here now. You can even hear it in my voice, like I feel a little bit better. Because again, I'm very sensitive to people's energies, and like, again, like I cannot be my full self with 1,000 people watching me. Not all the time, especially when I'm doing something like this. So there's like this is such a mess. Like, there's so many fucking questions. And ideally what I wanted to do was if I have the capacity, I would love to have these posted on my website so that you can refer to them, and you can do these reflection questions as well. Like, these are writing prompts, so I would love for folks to really use this as an opportunity as well to really understand themselves. Okay, so I organized my thoughts and put everything in some order. So I want to actually read to y'all what ChatGPT essentially wrote when it was analyzing my birth chart and my whole Chiron in Sagittarius, because then that also helps folks understand more of what that means, like the Chiron, whatever. So yeah, there's just 1,000 things going on, 1,000 questions, and this question specifically stood out to me, that ChatGPT wrote in the beginning of this analysis. It said, why was I born into a world that doesn't make sense, and why am I always the one asking the hardest questions? That last part, asking the hardest questions, is something that I resonate deeply with. It goes on to saying that Sagittarius is in the sign of truth-seeking, liberation, travel, philosophy, and belief. But with Chiron here, so my Chiron is in Sagittarius. It says, your relationship to truth, belonging, and hope itself has been wounded, maybe from the beginning, which makes sense because lost my mother at 2. And then it goes deeper, and it goes on to saying how this manifests within me and my life and everything. So it says, you've likely always asked big questions about life, God, death, freedom, justice, but were met with silence, shame, or punishment. There may be a deep-rooted pain in being misunderstood, erased, or exiled, especially by people, cultures, or systems that were supposed to love and uplift you. You may have felt like an outsider in religion, in school, in your own culture or family. Your mind was too free, your vision too expansive. There's always the ache of spiritual betrayal, of asking, where was God when I needed her the most? It says here, Chiron and Sagittarius people carry the wound of the quote-unquote wandering philosopher, searching for meaning in a world that keeps breaking their spirit. And that keeps breaking their heart. It's this constant back and forth, Out of this, something that I really learned is that part earlier of like, supposed to love and uplift me. Like, I don't even. It's just so layered, and I've been trying to make sense of it for the past week now. But it's like my inner child. For many years, and it less so now, but my inner child, yeah, I'm gonna just keep saying it. I have to pause every 5 seconds. It stresses me the fuck out. Like, it really is. That's why I can't even fucking think properly. It's so loud, and the street is literally right here. Again, like, this is important. Y'all need to understand this. Y'all need to understand the intersectionalities of this. Y'all need to understand how it doesn't matter. I'm going to keep losing in this system. And that's the point that I wanted to make before, is that my inner child, my entire life really was like, no, like, the system is supposed to take care of me. The system is supposed to love me. My biological family is supposed to love and accept me 100% because that's what everyone tells me. Fuck that shit. At the end of the day, nothing was meant 100% for me, and nothing was really exists for me. Like, that's not how this works, and I'm letting that go. And even this past weekend, I've let that shit go. I don't want a system to take care of me. I don't want my biological family to fully accept me. I want to do what works for me. I want to have my own space in the Dominican Republic, my own land, my own house, my own fucking AC, my own everything. Like, leave me the fuck alone. I want to go off grid. Like, that's what I want, and that's what I'm gonna build for myself. I'm not playing this game of, oh, let me go be president of the United States so that I can make my community. No, fuck that shit. If my community wants to be better, y'all can hit me up, and then y'all can come. We can do a little commune style in the Dominican Republic. I'll gladly invite you over. My house is welcome to everybody. Like, but no, I'm not doing this. Like, that's something that I'm learning también with this Chiron in Sagittarius. So furthermore, it says that the Chiron is in my 11th house, which is like core wounds. Here is regarding community, utopia, the idea of utopia, and collective rejection. So it says here, this placement brings ancestral and lived pain around being casted out by the very groups you try to love or build with, right? Especially queer, trans, or activist communities. You give your all and still feel like the outsider. This was me when I was, working under Logro, when I created, my own nonprofit. This was me in college at Brown. This was me, even in a lot of activist spaces now. Like, it's still very much outsider energy. It says further, the 11th house rules chosen family, collectives, liberation movements, and dreams for the future. It says, you may have deep wounds from being excluded by the excluded, disowned by your own people, or not fully belonging in the spaces you helped create. And it also says, friendship breakups hit you harder than romantic ones. True. Because community is your religion. I really love how that said that. I want to highlight that because that's what I wanted to focus on. Your vision of home has always been rooted in collectivity. I'm going to highlight that one as well. So I'll read it again. Community is your religion. Community is my religion. My vision of home has always been rooted in collectivity. And this is the truth. I thrive in a family setting, in a community setting, in a teamwork, all in this together type of setting. We're all in this together. Da, 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 da. I don't even know the damn lyrics. I forgot them. So then it gave me some like life themes. So it gave me 4 life themes. One says abandonment as a teacher. So like the concept of abandonment. It says you lost your mother to violence and were abandoned by those who survived. These aren't metaphors, they're soul deep facts. And then it goes on to saying, and then it says your Chiron asks, what do I do with this grief? How do I find meaning in a world that took so much? And that's a question that I still continue to ask myself. The next life theme is spiritual reclamation. It says Sagittarius Chiron asks you to reclaim spirituality on your own terms, outside empire, outside of patriarchy. It says here, you're here to decolonize belief, to remember the gods, ancestors, and earth that your blood still carries. Number 3, chosen family as prophecy. With Chiron in the 11th, chosen family isn't optional. It's sacred survival. See, this is important. This is what I'm trying to say here. Sacred survival. Chosen family, sacred survival. She said, take your time, what's the rush? That song is very misogynistic, but the words itself, it's helping me defeat the sense of urgency that white supremacy brings us in the society. Lord, it is loud. So it says here, chosen family isn't optional, it's sacred survival. You're not here to assimilate. You're here to co-create Black, Indigenous, queer futurity that transcends bloodlines and binaries. Number 4, being a lighthouse for other displaced healers. You carry the torch for others with wounds like yours, trans artists, exiles, Afro-Caribbean thinkers, indigenous memory keepers, etc. You are here to give language to the silence, vision to the forgotten, and hope to those who grieve in isolation. And it closed out with 3 questions for me to essentially like reflect on. It asked me, can I finally stop proving, or what's gonna asking you, so I'm gonna just say it that way. Can you finally stop proving that you're worthy of being loved? Number 2, can you release the fantasy that those who hurt you will come back differently? And number 3, can you choose your own truth, even if no one claps for it? So this goes into the next like 7 questions. I'm kind of expanding it further, but let's go backwards in terms of like short answering. So can you choose your own truth even if no one claps for it? This is something that I believe in the past 2-3 years I've been showcasing in my actions, via via my music, my podcast episodes, me creating my LLC, offering the services that I offer that is uniquely geared towards uplifting BIPOC and cutie BIPOC spaces, futures, and imaginations. Um, like, I've been getting claps, don't get me wrong, but like at the end of the day, I'm doing this for me, and I'm not doing this for claps. That's not substantive, and that doesn't hold me, like I can't do anything with that. It's not gonna always pay the bills. So going back up, the other question, can you release the fantasy that those who hurt you will come back differently? This one actually I've come to terms with a lot earlier in my life. Definitely more like last year or 2 years ago. So yeah, that one is like absolutely, like I just said before, like I'm not waiting on y'all. The train has left the station. I'm not waiting for a system to love me and to do better. I'm not waiting for people to all like give y'all time to learn how to say my pronouns properly. Like I'm good. Do what you need to do. Don't stress yourself out, right? Don't get your panties in a twist for me. Like, again, I'm not worth it. Just do what you need to do for you, and I got me. You feel me? So I just really want to say that out. If there's anything that I want to say right now, like, don't come to me with that toxicity. If you're here to support and to love, please, you know where to find me. You know where my GoFundMe is, all my different payment methods: Venmo, Zelle, Cash App, PayPal. Absolutely, please support, donate. But at the end of the day, I gotta remember that I got me. So, boom. Y después, the first question is actually the one that I've really been like sitting with a lot. Can you finally stop proving that you're worthy of being loved? This one is hard because, the past 3 years, the answer to number 3 is also in many ways, the answer to number 1, where it's like, in a lot of ways, subconsciously and even just consciously, I created this life, this new world, these past 3 years, so that I feel like I am worthy of being loved, because I felt like I had nothing to, I guess, show the world, which is funny because I have so many things, but like in the way that I wanted it, right? And we're gonna dive into that a little further right now, actually. I'm a dog, I'm a man. Alright, these motherfucking trains are killing me in the background. Okay, so that's why before I was like so overwhelmed, because I'm like, we need to give context. So the first out of the 7 questions, the first one talks about when has survival felt like rebellion. So the first question / like section of questions, because like they all have like sub questions under it. So the first one is the fight to be believed. When has survival felt like rebellion? So it says here, what is one part of your life where no matter how hard you try or how true your pain is, the world seems determined not to believe you? I mean, girl, in a lot of ways, loss of work, loss of safety, loss of housing, Yes, I did quit my job, but at the same time, we need to acknowledge why I quit, right? We need to acknowledge the lack of capacity building that these organizations have for Black trans people that are disabled. Furthermore, like, these corporate systems, right? Not only the nonprofit industrial complex, but like all of the different complexes, like they are not meant to take care of homeless people. That's not its job. That's why it does not have the capacity to do that. It doesn't have the capacity to take care of homeless people. It doesn't have the capacity to take care of Black trans people, poor people. It doesn't. For example, like when I got my first job out of college, right, at a tech company, I was thrifting for fucking pants and a shirt because, again, I didn't have no fucking money, and I was in my non-binary phase, and I didn't want to, like, I don't know, it was such a moment, you know what I mean? So I'm over here thrifting for clothes, and it's like, this is not built for poor people. It's not. And that's also what's pushing me away from wanting to live in this country anymore. Let's see. It says, what illusions did I have to let go of this month about community stability or being respected as a trans POC? That's a fucking deep and loaded question, honestly. Like, there's a lot of illusions, you know, and in a lot of ways, you know, there's a lot of people in this chapter of receiving support from folks. Like, again, 1,000% grateful, but a lot of certain people, you know, it's the bare minimum, you know. Like, it's not my fault that this system makes it so difficult for displaced trans people like me. It makes it so difficult. Like, I like, at the end of the day, like, I'm expensive. Like, that's why they don't want to take care of me. That's why my job didn't want to properly take care of me, because I'm expensive. Like, there's no easy way around this stuff, you know. It's expensive. For example, like, another thing, like, if you have an IEP, an individualized education plan, like, that's expensive for everybody, and that's why people don't want to do it, you know, or it's not, like, feasible. So yeah. It says, what does it cost you to keep proving your worthiness to landlords, to institutions, to family, to lovers? It's like, it's costing me everything. I'm constantly suicidal. This entire month I was peak suicidal. But again, like, the people in person, a lot of them, like, they don't even bat an eye. Like, they don't even care. Or, like, they're just like, oh, you brought this on yourself because whatever, the decisions you wanted to make. Or, like, oh, why can't you just go to your biological family? And it's like, bitch, they're the ones that kicked me out. What are you talking about? And at the end of the day, I'm not going back there. Even if they did accept me with open arms, I'm not going back there. That's not, no. Because at the end of the day, what we also need to understand is that we need to respect ourselves. And the same way that many immigrants left their prospective countries to come to this country for a quote-unquote better life, y'all respected your capacities, y'all respected yourselves, and y'all knew that y'all wanted to be here. So respect my capacity, and let me say what I need to say. Point blank, period. It says here, what if resistance was not in the fight, but in refusing to explain yourself anymore? I mean, that's the goal, right? I want to do my whole MIA moment. Be like, peace, suckers. You know? Get my fuck you money and be out. Number 2, it says, the home that was never safe. Redefining shelter and belonging. What does home mean when you've been exiled by birth, culture, and blood? Not just little beds. Where did I try to belong this month that wouldn't hold me, right? Which institutions, people's or spaces made it clear that they didn't see me as worthy of staying. This one is really important. Like, they did not see me as worthy of staying. It's not worth housing me. It's not worth giving me the money. It's not worth supporting a quote unquote grown ass woman. Like, you know, like, there are a lot of other people that would need the support way more than I do, and I agree. But at the same time, it's like, this system has taught me to downplay my emotions and downplay my pain, and not only downplay my pain, but downplay my real medical conditions and my real psychological diagnoses, that if I didn't pay more attention to, I would be dead. And I'm being completely honest with everybody. So I need to start honoring my capacity and really prioritizing my health, because I do have a medical condition. I have multiple medical conditions. And it's like, I'm vocalizing it the way that I am right now because I don't be saying that. And it's just like, I'm not going to sit here and beg you guys to keep me safe. Like, I'm going to tell you straight up, because that's the only thing. That's the only thing that's the only thing that y'all understand. Like, y'all, it's so cookie cutter, so binary, so one way. Like, you do not understand trans, so I'm not doing that no more. I've been telling people I'm indigenous and I have a mental condition and indigenous. That's it. Because, you know, niggas here, Native American, they're like, okay, copy. That's why y'all are weird. That's literally it. And I'm gonna be like, boom, and it works. And same with the mental condition, because at the end of the day, we're protected by HIPAA in this fucking country, so you can't question nothing about my medical condition and nothing. So, like, that's an example of me not refusing to, like, explain myself any further. Is that. It's like, no, like, I have a medical condition, leave me the fuck alone, or I have a medical condition, let me use the fucking bathroom, or I have a medical condition, kick rocks. Like, it's that simple. And it's really, really disrespectful, because if any other person had their own medical conditions, whatever the fuck it may be, y'all would not be treating them the way that y'all are treating me. And I'm just saying it. Because it's easier to mistreat black people. It's easier to mistreat black trans people, because everyone sees us as scum. So it's so much easier to do that. It's almost as if it is expected of this white supremacist society, which it is. And moving forward, it says here, if your body, mind, and voice are the only real homes you've ever had, how do you decorate them? With music, art, and shaking this puss, period. Who feels like shelter now, even temporarily? My podcast. That's the first thing that came to mind. My podcast. That's it. I'm not expanding it. The next question's over here. It says the ache for family and the power of found kin. That's like the little theme of it. You know, ChatGPT love doing that shit. So it says, how did your family shape your sense of who you are, or who you were never allowed to be? How did your family shape your sense of who you are, or who you were never allowed to be? That's a deep ass fucking question. And pass. Yeah. What dreams did they crush, and what dreams did you build in the ruins? Pass. What kind of kinship do you now crave that your past couldn't provide? Kinship do you not crave? Literally like Cutie BIPOC, Dominican trannies specifically, like, I don't know, Libras, Cancers, I don't know, Capricorns, I don't know. Let's see. Who am I when no one claps? Okay, so this expands on that. If nobody ever validated my truth, would I still speak it? Duh, bitch. That's what I'm doing right now. Speaking to the void. Because only like 2 people listen to this one episode watch. Which people or systems showed up for me when everything collapsed? I guess GoFundMe is a system. I guess the payment systems like Venmo, PayPal, like those systems showed up. The individuals that shared and donated, that shared my post and donated my, or donated to my GoFundMe and stuff like that. And those who donated directly to me, because a lot of people donated directly to me, that it's really appreciated. And those are the entities that showed up, you know. Bittersweet, but for the folks that had the capacity to house me this month, también, like, they showed up in that sense, right? And then the next question says, who didn't show up and who stayed silent, and what did that silence teach me? It taught me, I'm passing the second question, it's too soon. It taught me that, again, like, I really need to start, like, I mean, I'm just waiting on my financial aid package from Chiron, but yeah, I just need to be focusing on that. I need to be really focusing on me and trying to get a remote job that works for me and aligns with me. If nobody ever came back to say sorry, would you still choose freedom? Absolutely. And there were many moments in my life where I felt like sorry was the key to the next chapter of my life, but it's not. I am the key. I was always the key. If you were never applauded again, could you still live out loud? Yeah. That way I can just do my thing and not have to, like, look to the side like a 5-year-old child to see if I'm being validated or not, you know? Systemic violence and the right to exist. How do you live in a world that designs itself to erase you? What rituals have helped you claim your own body, your own name, your own care, especially when denied by healthcare system landlords and documentation processes? Again, it's just art. It's always art and community. Like, more specifically, like my Taino community, for example. I haven't even given them a shout out. Like, walking, and that's another thing.
They don't.
Hi.
I have to open this hydrant. I don't want to scare you, so it's going to full blast.
Oh, okay.
So just so I don't startle you, you might get a little mist. So just be careful. Just
Okay.
watch.
Thank you. I appreciate it. LOL. Yeah, so I was told there's gonna be some like blast of water because they're fixing the fire hydrant, and I just want to get this done. It's the urgency hitting now, and it's already 2:13. I'm like tired. So, en my tainos, mi gentitis, mi tainitis, mi tainchitis. That actually looks pretty cool. That actually looks pretty cool. I'm not gonna lie. I'm sorry, I'm like so distracted right now. Okay, that was really cool. And it kind of like cooled down the area too. I'm surprised it didn't hit any other cars. That's pretty cool. The individual came and asked if it was okay. Because I guess they saw me making the podcast. That's nice. You only get that in like, and it was a white man. You only get that in like these white areas. Any other motherfucker in the hood areas, they would just have done it. And if they sprayed you, they sprayed you. Like, we in the way. My Tainos have come through for most of these past like 3 months, and I really appreciate it. Like, they have really, really been the ones that have been solidifying, that have been planting these seeds, so that I can, collect this harvest in the future. They're giving me a lot of hope with my transition to the Dominican Republic for school. Yeah, I'm ready to do co-collaborations, more co-authorships. Something that I wanted to mention is that despite all the craziness, I was able to walk New York Manhattan Pride on Sunday, and it was really, really special. Like, I never thought, my first time going to Pride was 18, and then I had gone again 2 more times after that, I think, or 3 more times, but I never would have thought I would have been like in the parade. Not only in the parade, but with my tribe, with my Taino community. That's something that was really special to me. I had my little bomba skirt, my little nagua. It was vibes. So I just wanted to hold space for that. Thank you to all my Taino families. I had a great time with y'all, and I really appreciate the support that y'all have been putting in. Y'all are really an example of what a family is supposed to be. And like this has been saying, like, chosen family is my religion. Chosen family is my go-to, my sacredness. And then these questions are kind of pondered to my audience, to y'all, but the next section talks about making our stories undeniable. The question is, if we don't archive our own traditions, who will? What would it mean to institutionalize the beauty of trans POC life through ritual, podcast, oral histories, or zines? What story are you preserving just by surviving right now? So sit with those two. If we don't archive our traditions, our own traditions, who will? The next question is, what would it mean to institutionalize the beauty of trans people of color's life? POC, people of color's life, through ritual, podcast, oral histories, or zines? And finally, what story are you preserving just by surviving right now? The story of a black, indigenous, disabled trainee born New Jersey, raised in New Jersey, who was displaced. That's the story that I'm telling. That's the everything that I am preserving that one day is gonna make me billions. Not in just monetary wealth, but billions in hearts and claps and in food and everything. I never want to go hungry again. And then last one, talking about biopolitics, death, and the right to choose. So this one came up for me because I was reading a lot into the sarcopod in Europe. Forgot where, but essentially it's a pod that allows you to do assisted suicides. So trigger warning, but I'm also in my own independent research. I'm trying to normalize the conversation of suicidality because we're not going to be able to fully address the issues that stem from the systems of suicidality if we don't talk about it. And this whole notion of, oh, we want you to be here, we want you to be alive, like, there's always someone thinking about you. That's bullshit, and that's ass. I'm sorry. I have dealt with suicide my entire life. That doesn't work. We need to talk about not, oh, I want you alive. We need to talk about what is it in that individual's life, what is happening externally that is causing their internal to self-destruct. I'm gonna say that again. What is happening in that individual's life externally that is damaging their internal, that is leading their internal to self-destruction? That's the questions we need to be asking when we're talking about suicidality. So this sarcopod offers an opportunity to the world to choose the right to choose death. We talk about this from the sense of like the death penalty, but this is something that's extremely important because as sick people, as neurodivergent people, as indigenous people, right, as black people, as African people, we have suffered so much in so many ways. And sometimes that, even understanding it from the perspective of nature, right, when an environment becomes uninhabitable, the species either relocates or self-destructs, right, because it's not productive. And when something is not productive, it very much in a lot of ways ceases to exist. Everything in nature makes sense. And that's why queerness makes sense, because nature is inherently queer and queerness is inherently natural. So yeah, going back to that, like it's reclamation of power, right? Reclamation of power. It's anarchy. It is absolutely taking your power back, an act of self-love, having that opportunity to do that on your own terms. You can read more on it. SACROPOD, sarcopod. It's like harmless and everything, and like it's like a whole thing. And yes, so think about that when we're talking about this. So the questions are as follows. What does dignity look like when the state renders your body disposable? How do you make peace with death when life itself is a battleground? And how might we transform mourning into ritual for the living, not just the dead? So I'm going to leave y'all with that. We just got to reflect on... I'll leave y'all with that, I'll leave y'all with that. I'm definitely going to have a separate episode talking more about suicidality. Like I said, this is going to be a part of my independent research for the rest of my life. So I'm going to leave it at that. What does dignity look like when the state renders your body disposable? How do you make peace with death when life itself is a battleground? That's a big one. And how might we transform mourning into ritual for the living, not just the dead? All right. Now it's time to go because everybody coming in. Pero this was a cute little short one. Again, y'all know what's been going on. I've been trying my best to update y'all on my social media. Please continue to donate to my GoFundMe. Yep, that's it. Thank you for listening, mi gente. And remember, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, LinkedIn, Twitter, at La Real Reina Taina. The real Reina Taina. Again, I recently rebranded my LLC, so go check out my website at www.larenataina.com to see what services may work for you. Again, please continue to donate to my GoFundMe. I will keep everyone posted every month as to how things are going. Full disclaimer, these next months are a big question mark, so they may be very informal, nothing too crazy. But yeah, I appreciate y'all sticking with me, and go me for still doing this, even though it wasn't posted in June. This is for June. Happy Pride Month, happy Disability Pride Month, which is in July. Shit. I don't know. Y'all are great. Y'all made it this far, so I appreciate y'all. Thank you for listening. Thank you for witnessing my lived experiences, my truth. I'm exhausted, but I kind of feel better doing this, and I feel a little bit more hopeful. This was my therapy session that I missed today. This was my therapy session. So, yeah. And as always, my beautiful people, vete con Dios. Y que Dios te da amor, sabiduría y salud. Mua.
No pasa nada, yo veo agua, meneote culito como Tyler, amor profundo como Haya, flow sin compacta como Arda, transfeminista como Gaia.